The cruise ship Serenity Seas was launched today. People from all over the world were excited to be on board for the maiden voyage. The cruise ship Serenity Seas was a place of excitement and joy for passengers from all over. But one evening, things took a turn for the worse. A series of scary incidents happened, sending chills down everyone's spine. First, there was a power outage. Then strange noises were heard coming from a cabin. And finally, a passenger was found dead in their cabin. Next to his body was a piece of paper with a coded message written on it. The police were baffled. They had no idea who the killer was or what the coded message meant. After 2 days, another passenger was found dead in their cabin. This time, the killer left behind a different coded message. The police were starting to get worried. They had 2 murders on their hands, and they had no idea what the killer was trying to say. The third victim was found a week later. This time, the killer left behind a third coded message. The police were desperate. They had 3 murders, and they were no closer to catching the killer. The coded messages were all different, but they all seemed to have one thing in common. They were all written in a simple substitution cipher. The police brought in a cryptologist to help them decipher the messages, but even the cryptologist was stumped. The killer was taunting the police. They knew that the police were trying to decipher the messages, and they were enjoying the game. The police were starting to lose hope. They didn't know who the killer was or what the coded messages meant. But then, a break in the case. The cryptologist finally deciphered one of the messages. It was a warning from the killer. The killer said that they were going to kill again, and that the next victim would be someone close to the police. The police were terrified. They knew that the killer was serious. They had to find the killer before they killed again. The police worked around the clock. They interviewed everyone who had been on the cruise ship where the murders had taken place. They checked everyone's alibis. They searched everyone's cabins. Finally, the police had a suspect. They arrested a man named John Smith. Smith had a history of violence, and he had been seen arguing with one of the victims on the night of the murder. The police interrogated Smith, but he refused to confess. He said that he was innocent. The police had no evidence to link Smith to the murders, but they were convinced that he was the killer. They knew that they had to find the murder weapon. The police searched Smith's cabin, but they couldn't find anything. They were starting to think that they had made a mistake. Maybe Smith wasn't the killer after all. But then, the police found something. They found a piece of paper in Smith's trash can. The paper had a coded message written on it. The police finally had the evidence they needed. They arrested Smith again, and this time he confessed to the murders. Smith said that he had killed the victims because they had seen him commit a crime. He said that he had left the coded messages behind as a way of taunting the police. Smith was taken to a maximum security prison where he would spend the rest of his life. If you enjoyed the story and would like to hear more fascinating tales, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you'll be the first to receive new stories filled with adventure, wisdom, and inspiration. So, click that subscribe button now and join us on this exciting journey of imagination.